Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. Overwatch has a brand new character, Moira, a Talon support healer. The only thing we're missing from a full Talon lineup now is a tank, so maybe one of the next characters that gets added will be in that role. But today I want to talk about what Moira can really do and how she's going to drastically change the game. Now, yesterday, I already made a video going over all of her abilities. I broke down every single one of them, explained how they work, how much damage she can do, how much healing she can do, all of that stuff. So if you missed it, go and check out that video as well. There'll be a link on screen and down below. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, because anytime we get new information, I'll be sure to let you guys know. So stay up to date with the latest and greatest in Overwatch, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of it. Alright, so I've been watching quite a bit of the Moira gameplay from BlizzCon. There's a variety of streamers that have been playing the character and showing off what she can do. I unfortunately haven't been able to play it myself, but I've watched more than enough to know what this character is going to be capable of and how it's going to change basically the way the game is. So for a while we had the triple tank meta and people didn't really like it, and then we kind of moved into the dive comp. And the dive comp was really strong for quite a while, and for a quick minute, it started to see like dive comp might start to go away a little bit when we had the addition of Orisa, and then we had the changes to Junkrat and that sort of deal. But dive comp never really went away, and now it's kind of come back in full force. You do see a little bit of like the Reinhardt anchored builds in these World Cup tournaments that are going on right now, but for the most part, it's always dive comp. You know, you have your Tracer and your Genji, you have Mercy, Zen, and then Winston and D.Va. So it's basically full-on dive comp almost every single match. Now, again, yes, they do replace it here and there, but for the most part, it's dive comp, right? That's basically where we're at again. So the real strength of the dive comp is having multiple flanky, high mobility characters that can get into the enemy backline and take out their supports. And the supports really only have two options. They can try to run away, or they can try to fight. Now, some characters like Lucio and Mercy have pretty good escape mechanics. They can, you know, move away really fast and try to escape. Now, when it comes to Ana, you basically have to land the sleep dart. If you miss, then you're dead. It's as simple as that. Now, if you land it, then that means that you and your team can kill that flanking character, but if you miss that sleep dart, then you're just toast. So that's pretty much what it boils down to for Ana. For Zenyatta, he doesn't have any escape mechanic at all. For him, it's basically a duel at that point. You throw Discord or the Genji or the Tracer or whatever, and then you have to start landing those headshots. But the thing is, Genji and Tracer are going to win that fight most of the time. Yes, there are times when Zen is going to be able to get the better of them, but for the most part, the high mobility DPS characters of Tracer and Genji are going to win that fight. So again, the supports basically either run away, or for the most part, they're going to die. And that's what ends up happening. But with Moira, it's a totally different ballgame, because almost all of her abilities directly counter that sort of high mobility, dive comp, flanky character. So the first thing is, if you just simply want to escape, she can use her Fade and just get out of there. And then she doesn't really have to worry about it. She can get over to where the rest of her team is, or just get to a safer location or something like that. She can use it to escape. So the first thing is, she just has really good escape from these mobility characters. Now the other thing is, she doesn't have to run away though. She can stand and fight, and she will do a lot better than any of the other healing supports can. So mainly this comes from the fact that her right click, her primary damage, is kind of an auto lock-on. It's not fully auto lock-on, it's somewhere between Symmetra and Zarya, but the idea is, with these high mobility characters, usually getting rid of them is difficult because you have to hit them first. But because they're moving around so fast, it can be difficult. But with Moira, she just has to basically aim in the general direction of the enemy, of the Genji or the Tracer, and she can hit them. So very much like Symmetra, but not to that exact degree. But it doesn't stop there, because on top of that, she also heals herself while she's dealing damage. So the Genji or the Tracer has to really burst down the Moira character in order to get rid of her. Because if they just tried to do this war of attrition thing where they're just, taking some shots here and there and hiding and moving back and forth, then Moira's gonna win almost every single time. Because she's just gonna keep healing herself as she's doing damage. And since the Tracer and the Genji can't heal themselves, I mean, Tracer can rewind, but you guys get the idea. Moira is going to win that war of attrition, basically. And Moira's other ability, the Biotic Orb, can help her either stay alive or to help kill that flanking character that's trying to get her. So she can throw out the heal and basically it will constantly bounce around whatever area that she's fighting in and it will keep healing her for up to 300 hit points. So that is a tremendous amount of extra health that she just basically has to stay next to the orb and it will just keep healing her. Or, the alternative, she could throw out the damage version and try to take out the Tracer or the Genji. And that damage orb can do up to 200 damage. So that's enough to kill either of those characters fully outright. And that's without any extra damage from Moira's right click at all. Now what about dealing with Winston and D.Va? Well, if Winston jumps in, you just fade and get out. You can then throw one of your biotic orbs, and it will either heal you, or you can throw it and try to damage the Winston. And the orbs go right through barriers, so that bubble that Winston has doesn't do anything. Or if it's D.Va who's trying to dive in, again, you just fade to try to get away, and then you can right-click the D.Va and deal damage to her because your ability doesn't get absorbed by Defense Matrix. So basically, Moira can deal with pretty much everything in the dive comp right now. Like, there is nothing that she can't deal with, so it's going to be incredibly powerful. So it just seems like almost all of Moira's abilities have been designed to specifically counter these sort of high mobility, flanky type characters. So this probably is going to result in a lot less dive comp usage, because if those characters are not going to be able to really get in the back line and take out Moira as easily as they could take out a Mercy or a Zen or a Lucio or whatever else, then they're not going to be as optimal. So that might end up meaning that we see a switch back to a more kind of Reinhardt barrier-oriented lineup. But here's the funny thing about that. The orbs that Moira can throw out actually go through barriers. So she kind of counters almost everything. So I think the end result of all of this is going to be that you're going to see a lot of Moira. She's going to be an incredibly popular character and very powerful against certain lineups. And that means that dive comp is not going to entirely go away, but it's definitely going to be diminished in value by quite a bit. Because if the enemy team has that Moira, then your flanky characters just aren't going to be nearly as effective as they should be. And one last thing I want to point out is that Moira does synergize quite well with a Reinhardt or a Zarya, similar to how a Hanzo does. Whereas Moira has the only ultimate for a support that actually deals damage. So if the enemy team gets trapped in an Earth Shatter or a Graviton Surge, your team can be dealing damage to them, but Moira can also use her ult to basically hit everyone on your team and the enemy team at the same time. So all of your team is going to be getting healed through that, not quite as good as a Transcendence, and all of the enemy team is going to be taking damage, not quite as good as a Hanzo, but the combined effects of it is just going to be incredibly, incredibly powerful. So there you have it, guys. Again, if you want the full breakdown of all her abilities and the details, check out the other video that I posted yesterday. That's going to be it for this one. What do you guys think about this new character and the changes that she's going to have on the meta? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. The links are below. Thanks for watching. Remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.